Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the finest Dawn of War Unification casts this side of East Yorkshire. And today we've got a 1 versus 1 on Fatamorga. We're on southern side as the Blood Angels, we've got Avezearth. On the northern side as the Orks, we've got Grindan. Grindan will be opening with a couple of Slugger Boys, a Grot Squad, Boys Hut, and a Plasma Generator. And Avezearth is going to go for a Machine Helot, a Might of Sanguinius Tech Path, a couple of Assault Scout Squads, and a Progenitor Barracks. Now, Blood Angels versus the Orks, it always makes me think of that one episode of If the Emperor Had Text-to-Speech, where, what was it? It was the Flesh Eaters that went around and they found some Orks, and they needed to find some more stuff about where their spores were. Decided to eat their flesh, and they got to see blooming Sanguinius in person, and he hungered for HeReTiC Boooorrrrgaaaarrrr. And that is, I mean, that scene is just crystallized in the back of my brain every single time I see Orks and Blood Angels in the same scene. Definitely go check that, that scene out. Yes, we're going to see some shooter boys coming out for these guys first and foremost. Also quite interesting that he's gone for the Might of Sanguinius Tech Path, as that is a more infantry and ground-based tech path to go for, so expect to see some chunkier lads coming out. Also, one slight difference between the Blood Angels and the other Space Marine factions is that they're able to get their Tier 1 commander out from the HQ rather than the infantry production building like the Progenitor Barracks. So that means you're able to get a squad of tactical marines out while at the same time building up Captain Tycho here. So able to have a little bit more boys on the field a little bit quicker. Whereas obviously the Orks have got to build up a shooter boy squad and then get the big mech out. So a little bit slower from their perspective, but that is fine and dandy for them. Plenty of points capture on Fatamorga. I don't think I need to explain Fatamorga at this point. If you've watched any I mean, if you probably took a dartboard and threw some darts at it in the context of maps and stuff, you're more or less guaranteed to get Fatamorga after a couple of throws. There we go. Tactical Marines and Captain Tycho already going to be coming out on the northern side to see if they can bash some stuff. And one squad of shooter boys ain't going to be doing much against these lads on their own. But that big mech has been finished. Lovely combination of pink and teal. I think we've seen a lot of pink and teal in recent games. I don't know why, maybe that's the fashion. And the Orks certainly do have a passion for fashion. Quite an aggressive teleport from Grindan here. I mean, he knows full well that the Tactical Marines are just going to turn around and start bothering them, although it does deny the relic for a small amount of time. There's no escape for him at the moment now, so he's kind of committed to this engagement here. Scares away the Machine Helot. I don't think you're finished, are you? No, you are not quite finished because the discs aren't spinning around. Oh, no, you are spinning around. Okay, well, ignore me then. That is finished. It's not denying as much as they were hoping. Captain Tycho shining bright like a diamond, making sure he's doing that extra damage. And also, I assume a little bit of a speed boost, although not quite being able to get that attack animation off. That big mech just being a little too fast on his toes for him. Slugger Boys coming forward, see if they can do some stuff, but struggling to do the exact same thing as Captain Tycho is. The curse of the melee squad, unable to attack things while on the move the majority of the time. Is a real pain. Got a frontal war banner here, always risky to put in a defensive capacity, as it does allow the Tactical Marines and Captain Tycho to start taking swipes off at it. Can't imagine there'll be much of that going on at the moment. They've got juicier and more supple targets. There we go, going straight down one squad, wipe on the Slugger Boys. Does give the Orks a little bit more population room for more shooter boys. He's gone for double squads actually. Now moving on over here, another defensive war banner. Definitely potential for biting them in the backside. Got the Grots engaging glorious hand-to-hand combat as the shooter boys take a couple of pot shots at the Tactical Marines. Almost getting down one model, but one model manages to narrowly survive, although I can't imagine it'll last all that long. I'd love to see a Grot take him down there. Very rare that you see a Grot actually kill anything. For obvious reasons, Captain Tycho slices down another shooter boy as all these lads are on the move. Go on, kill him! Get him! Be the Grot that can! You can do it! Just a couple of stabs and slices. Ah, the morale's broken. He tried though. Give that guy an Ork medal, if Orks give medals. Is there any historical or lore context of Orks getting medals? I don't think there is, not off the top of my head. But I wouldn't put it past old James Workshop with his writing prowess to bring them out. Gonna go for Storm Boys. Okay, that's interesting. Gonna skip straight over the big shooters. You've got a third squad of shooter boys as well, so just going purely for the raw numbers here. War banner now being tickled, but the Grots are coming over to repair it. No infiltration on these grots though. Slugger Boys, I assume you've done some capping on the... Yeah, you've capped the critical location. So you've done that, now you're coming to return. And the Tactical Marines massively outnumbered, and the Shield Boys think, right, well, you know what, sod this. We're going to bash you with our guns. Storm Boys jumping on in for some slicey dicey stuff. Captain Tycho not vibing with this whole situation. We'll go back quite low in health at the moment. Might actually go down if the big mech is a bit more aggressive. We'll chase him all the way. Don't think he's able to get him. Actually, he might be able to. Running and fleeing. Not the fastest commander is Captain Tycho. And he goes down in the most inglorious manner. Blood Angels, very aggressive in the early game, but not quite being able to maintain that. Wouldn't normally expect the Orks to go full ham on the population. 9 times out of 10, it's the big shooters before the Storm Boys, but not those Storm Boys are coming up quite low in health for a lot of their models there. Might see some more lads in their ranks. In fact, they're on auto-reinforced at the moment. Relatively cheap for a jumping unit at 40 blue. Still much more expensive. Actually, no, you're not more expensive. I mean, you are more expensive, but for 5 extra blue, not too bad. Going to see listing posts being upgraded, both of them actually. So with the lack of numbers for the Blood Angels here, just relying on their listing posts to do the defensive stuff, but will it be too late for those upgrades to come in? Storm Boys making sure that these guys stay way back up. Tier 2 almost finishing for Avezearth. God, you have no idea how many times I had to restart the cast to be able to pronounce his name right in the opening few minutes. Always important to get that 60 minutes, well, 60 minutes, 60 seconds absolutely right. In the past I found that if you tend to stutter and for part of the opening you lose the viewer retention. That's all important for the algorithm, baby. We're all slaves to the algorithm. Either way, listing post over here has been taken down. Soon will be followed by this one as well. So both upgrades not really doing them any favours. I mean, what is that? 100 blue, 200 blue, and then is it 75 green for each, which is not cheap. Not cheap, certainly. Let's see a Primaris Intercessor squad coming out. Heavy Intercessor squad, actually. Those guys come out primarily with big, bad weapons to take out infantry. Current economies after that, decapping stuff is 80 and 40 compared to 98 and 20. It's not a huge economic advantage for the Orks, even though they've taken down a fair few stuff. Here comes the Primaris, their big weapons. And the Orks do not want to mess with that. They've taken down some stuff. Also, maybe potentially going to capture the relic as well. Probably won't get that in all fairness. Look at the size of those boys compared to the regular old tacticals. First gen. Got some flamers on the little lads. Breaking morale. Also shooting some boys in midair. I don't think they've got the memo that they died, but they will fade away, which is awfully polite of them. Got some assault scout squads keeping behind enemy lines, looking for those critical locations. Do manage to get it. We'll probably want to run all the way home. The Orks are now in tier 2. And what are you going to go for? You're going to go for a Knob squad. So keeping the aggression on the go, but a Machine Bastion on the way. And you'd think that with all this anti-infantry stuff, you'd probably think the Orks would go for a Tank Buster, anticipating that the Blood Angels would go for some sort of vehicular stuff. But nope, they're going to go for some knobs. Stick a big mech in there, teleport them straight into the middle of combat. And also zap a vehicle as well, maybe even a couple if they're within close proximity of each other. God, there's so many war banners on the front lines. This is... Yeah, the Orks definitely need to make sure that they keep their aggression up. Otherwise, they will be... Well, they'll just be having a really rubbish time, won't they? Being beaten back into tier 1. And the knobs in Unification, so much bigger than we're used to. Teleports in, although I don't know about this, as the Blood Angels can now just fall back, and there's no real aggression coming in from these guys. They're just trying to keep up. We normally want to engage an actual proper fight before teleporting your knobs in. Razorback picks up those lads before doing a 3.1 turn, smoothly taking them back to safety. That teleport, a little bit wasted there. And it's not a very short cooldown, is that teleport, so the Blood Angels now have got a little bit of maneuverability to them. Primaris aggressors taking down one knob. And I do believe that the Razorback only has space for one. Yeah, you've only got space for one squad in there. So I imagine you'll just be using that taxi to keep those heavy intercessors on top of whatever target you want. And only knobs on this side. The shooter boys have gone over this side, but they've now all got big shooters. So if they can focus fire on one target, they'll do a remarkable amount of damage very quickly. But the veteran squad, which I mean, look at the speed on those boys. Able to keep on top of anyone. Also able to get some plasma pistols or power swords, whichever kind of thing they fancy. Razorback's opening fire on the knobs. And it does seem that the heavy intercessors seem to slow down the knobs when opening fire on them. Got some tank busters around the flanks. Missing a couple of the missiles, but no, they can always have another go. Big shooters opening fire on the tacticals. We do have another Razorback that they can taxi people around with. Being caught on the infantry, bit of a pain. It only takes a couple of volleys from those tank busters to bring down a lightly armoured vehicle like a Razorback.
We face the darkness without fear until we
The Orks are now massively on the defensive here.
Our post.
I mean, that's the catch-22, isn't it? So they have to defend here, otherwise they'll lose the war banners. But they've also got to make sure they keep an eye over here in case they lose this one as well. So they've kind of built themselves into a corner here. Counter Tiger back on the field. Also got a skull probe just to spot those. And there we go. That's what you want to see. Knob squad being teleported round the backside. Orks now able to parcel out some targets wherever they fancy. One Razorback goes down. Now these tactical marines are out in the wilderness. One knob squad, well, just one knob model, really. Tying up a whole squad there. And that is a good pickup for the Orks, but not really taking up the vast majority of the actual damage dealing stuff from the perspective of the Blood Angels. They've just managed to snag a Razorback there. But every little helps a lot in the long term. And just some posture and positioning. The knobs can't jump in anymore. I don't think the shooter boys are able to really take on these tactical marines at the moment. Not when these veteran squads are, you know, going into close combat with them. Knobs also not got quite the numbers. Even if a Type 1 squad, there's also other things to shoot them down as well. That's a pain. Mech shot being built on the back lines, as the assault squad seems to have been taken care of. Plenty of dead Orks on the battlefield at the moment. Did the big mech survive? The big mech did not survive. Going to rebuild that knob squad. No big mech to come for a little while at the very least. They don't really have enough green money to transition over to a vehicle, or well, any vehicle really at the moment. Those knobs are very green money intensive. I mean, what, 75 just to get one small amount out. And also those tank busters well cost 10 green a piece. I'm going to see a war track. I assume you're going to go for bomb chucker just for the AoE knockback. Pile of guns about to go down. Unfortunate, although they did have a couple of shooter boys inside there, but they are dead now. Considering the sheer amount of damage that those heavy intercessors can take out. Yeah, I think keep with the Storm Boys, that would have probably been better. Nice and cheap, able to tie things up. You can get multiple squads of them for a lack of money as well. And then able to get some more vehicles out because you're not spending as much in the way of green money. Here come the knobs there, but no teleport in there. Once again, been slowed down remarkably considerably. Yeah, it's been thrown away. Loves to run backwards, managing to just get out of that slow down range. Thinking about going back, but thinking better of it. That's actually quite a lot of tank busters, to be fair. I assume just one squad would have done them in, but no, they went for two. Better safe than sorry. They're now back into tier 1, very unfortunate. Big mech being rebuilt. This could be a gradual siege for the Orks. They can't quite push these guys back. Also, lovely touch with the minefield as well. So if they do decide to jump over again, they will be blasted from both sides, actually. The Blood Angels, they've got a decap on that relic there. Current economy is 92 and 40. And 133 and 40. We see more Razorbacks, and why not, eh? No point in spending much more money on anything else. Big mech teleports in. Manages to get a good jump on those Primaris. Minefields blowing up every which way. We'll also get these shooter boys well. Actually, no, it seems like they've just kind of... Are you exploding? Oh, there we go. Little explosion there. Nobs are not leaving those Primaris alone. Only 2 moles left in their ranks. Big zap on the Razorback. I assume that the Tank Buster will focus fire on it. So there we go. As quick as it was set up, it's been demolished as the Blood Angels' little siege soiree there. Now been blown up. One more squad of tactical marines being opened up to plenty of aggression and sadness. He's attempting to try and jump inside the Razorback, but he's like, "Oh, can't reach me. Too quick for you, slow boys." That's a lot of knobs. 9 now 10. Soon to be 11 when they can afford it. But it's not been auto-reinforced like instantly, so that does mean that the Orks are basically spending every single penny that they possibly can. We've now got a replacement heavy intercessor squad. I mean, the Blood Angels, they've got the money for it. The Orks don't seem to do it, and you're probably just being a little bit too aggressive here, Mr. Grindan. But continuing to just teleport straight on in. They are not messing around. Therefore, right, we've got some things to smash, and we're going to smash some things. Tank Busters on the back lines, blowing up the economy. There's a Knobs attempt to hold these guys off, but yeah, the heavy incest squad, real MVP for the Blood Angels unit composition here. Placement Razorbacks constantly in situ. And some more veterans keeping those Orks honest. One track goes down. And the Orks have lost a significant amount of their fighting forces there. They have a lot of money to replace things. You actually do. That's good. That's pretty nice. To rebuild that pile of guns. Might want to build it, you know, in all this safe space over here. The Orks are feeling dangerous, baby. The Orks are feeling that way inclined. I'll be pushed all the way back home, but this Razorback a little bit too zealous here. Now being zapped and clapped by the Tank Busters. Although not quite getting him. Just narrowly avoiding things. You're also going to fire at this minefield here, which seems to be quite hard for them to hit on the move. I suppose no Orks really have good on the move fire accuracy. I don't think they've even got really a good standing accuracy, to be fair. They just like to press the trigger and hear the sounds go boom. Who could blame them? Always good fun when you're an Ork. Going for a decap on that relic. Massive pain in the backside. That one's skull probe. Oh dear. You only need to hit once for that thing to go down. More Knobs. And go for 2 actually. Okay. I don't know. Again, I don't know. Don't think you've got the money for it. Would love to see some more Storm Boys, like I say. For the reasons mentioned above. I don't know. Grindan, he's a player. He knows how to do things. Not his first rodeo. I'm absolutely dedicated to the frontline war banner stuff going on here. Have you upgraded your stuff? No, you have not. That's still a regular shooter. Top of your war banners. Blood Angels not feeling too confident in pulling off all the stops. Seen some Storm Boys attempt to go around the sides. And deciding to just pull back and defend instead. Always cautious that those Orks can pull out some shenanigans. Here we have High Priest Korbula. Acts as a supersized apothecary. So, just thinking about the longevity of their boys. It's fair enough. Fair enough indeed. Now we've got an Assault Rhino. There's lots of lightly armoured tanks, really. Anything just to absorb the damage and help for the repositioning of the infantry. Anything else substantial coming out? Not at the moment. Oh, we've got a Predator. Predator's always good. Also superior target finders. So just building up for a ranged engagement. That's what they're preferring here. It's all going to be about how Grindan can get these Knobs into close combat. Also going to go on to tier 3. So maybe he's thinking that if he can defend with the Knobs, get the flash kits out, and then that will be strong front line and a strong firing line as well. I don't think the Blood Angels will fare well against that. Lots of factions really do struggle going up against the Nob Flash Git combo. The Flash Nobs, shall we call it? There we go, I've coined a term. Should really start coining more terms, actually. Well, I suppose that if there's too many terms being coined, then anyone who joins these casts from years from now will have no idea what we're talking about half the time. No, let's keep this language vanilla. Let's keep it sensible. Well, that's like a substantial amount of stuff. Oh, we've got a Death Company Rhino. What's the difference between you and anything else? Assuming just cooler looking. Here they come. The war banners referring on the well. Oh, huge orbital bombardment coming in from the Blood Angels, and that will do a lot of damage to the structures itself. Storm Boys and Nobs teleporting in. They surround a couple of lads. You can barely see them under that green mass of muscle. That's got a killer cannon. You don't see them very often. They're rocking on in. One scything saw on one hand and a machine gun on the other. And it's just a sea of red and teal. But the Blood Angels, they're quite potent in a close combat engagement, which again is another reason why it's umming and ahhing about the Orks going for Nobs. They've got that Chaos of Sanguinius, or whatever you call it. Means that when they get a bit ticked off, a little bit annoyed, do a lot better in close combat. Got a Death Company as well, who are just G's in the close combat department. All out the power swords. And quite a decent movement speed. Look at those guys. Basically just skipping into combat there. As we said, those flash kits are now on the way out, but I mean, you don't really have enough. I mean, you do have the squad cap for some more. Mad Doc's on the way, second squad of flash kits. You're about to lose a sizable amount of your war banners. Definitely need to get those guys out before you lose them. Can they squeeze another squad out in time? They do manage to get it. Pretty decent for them. Veteran squad's been blasted. Won't do them any badness. They've taken a rocket to the face a couple of times in the past. Won't hold them back for long. And yeah, both unit compositions here have gone for a front line and a back line, although the Nobs just completely negating their frontline potential, allowing the Blood Angels just to go right for those flash kits. So any fireline potential for them has completely gone. Also got my fist on, giving them the old fist on right there, zapping them, keeping them nice and slow. Morale being broken on them. And the Blood Angels just picking apart every kind of orc they can see on the battlefield at the moment. Absolutely running down every foul Xenos they can get their hands on. Got some dude jumping in. Your Terminators. Like it, these guys don't teleport in. Not like the vanilla Space Marines, they get drop podded in like real men. And just a few stragglers of Orks left over. But they're holding the line. Not giving up just yet. They've got plenty of money. They could start rebuilding the war banners. That will take time. Yeah, they're basically down to 0 war banners at the moment, so back to basic tech here. Having to fight off the Blood Angels with sticks and stones. They've still got the, you know, HQ all upgraded nice. Little roof on top in case it starts raining. The rains don't come on Fata Morgul. Now going to see a replacement boys hut on the back lines. And another boys hut. I was just planning just to spam out those slugger boys for now. And then just now falling back. Why are you doing that? I don't think that's necessary. Although maybe you're worried about these Storm Boys here. Maybe they're thinking that there's some Orc shenanigans going on, but I don't think there is any Orc shenanigans. But yeah, I think when push came to shove, the unit composition of the Orcs let them down. I think also maybe going for a massive shooter boys rather than going for a smaller amount and big shooters instead. Maybe didn't do them any favours in the early games. But they did manage to push off the Blood Angels fairly early. Also able to get the listening post being broken down. Oh, you're going for a countdown victory thing. Maybe. Or, oh no, oh, the Orks nearly won. Ah, right, I see. The Orks nearly won with the countdown victory, but then, there we go. That's a thing. All right, okay, yep, so I've talked enough about why things have happened. So, yeah, so cheers so much, Avezearth, for sending that game into the Discord. And if you want to support the channel, have a look at the old Patreon. £1 a month gets you once a game a week. And there is also a Discord where Discord things happen. Linked in the description as always. As been Mr. Landshark, which is always never short. And I'll see you in a bit. Peace.